globally. It
Right.
started in 1983. It's a UN-recognized day. It's celebrated on the 15th of March every year. In Eswatini, we're celebrating it tomorrow, which is the 14th of March, at the Hilton Garden Inn here in Babane, in the presence of a number of stakeholders. Maybe we'll discuss that later.
Yeah.
But coming specifically to campaigns that we embark on around consumer protection issues, you will know that the Eswatini Competition Commission, is charged with the responsibility to, empowered by the Competition Act of 2007. We look on consumer protection issues. We do investigations, enforcement, but also sometimes just mediation between consumers and other players in the market.
Yeah.
So in that regard, what is important is advocacy and promotional activities, raising awareness and embarking on educational campaigns, which is what we usually do. Just right now, we are from the Bukanu ceremony in Etlane, where we're engaging with consumers on the ground, because it's important that they know their rights. It's important that they are aware of what to do, for instance, if they face issues of defective products in the market,
Yeah.
or harmful products, or faulty items. What do they do? And it's important that they know that. So we usually go to Tinkundla centers as well, in partnership with our line ministry, the Ministry of Commerce, partners like the Ombudsman of Financial Services and others, just to raise awareness and educate stakeholders. But we also have a radio program on a weekly basis on EPIS at 11 a.m. EPIS 2, the English radio channel, from 11 to 12 every Thursday, where we discuss consumer issues and empower the consumer, because it's important that they are aware of their rights. Yeah,
100%.
those are some of the campaigns that we embark on.
Yeah, Nondumiso, can you, if you will, give us, a sense of the real impact here? I mean, he's speaking about some of the campaigns that you've done, which are very timely and always important. I mean, you did say earlier that consumers need to understand that they have the right to quality products, whatever product it is. But I do want a sense of a real impact, a real life example where, there was a case or an initiative where consumer advocacy really changed the game.
Okay, as Mangoba just pointed out, we definitely are out there, not only just physically through roadshows and Tinkundla visits and emphasizing the rights of the consumer. We are out there as well, even through social media. And from these platforms, we are seeing the reaction of the public. For instance, we track the number of visits, the traffic that we actually receive based on our consumer rights awareness and training campaigns, and you can see the numbers rising. And we normally have a question that queries how people even became aware of our respective institutions. And you find people stating how they have become aware either through the radio program but they are citing the very campaigns that we have been doing to say they became aware that they could come to our offices and access the service that we give through our own efforts at trying to reach to them.
I want us to dig into the theme for this year's day, a just transition to sustainable lifestyles. For me, the first time I heard it, I was thinking around climate change. I'm like, okay, what does this have to do with consumer rights? Mangoba, what is your understanding of this theme? Are we moving towards sustainability in consumption? Are we moving toward a future where businesses, as well as, sustainability and consumers share responsibility of ethical consumption? What is the case here?
Yeah, we are talking climate issues as well, sustainability issues,
Right.
because, they have got impact on the consumer. Right now, for instance, you will know that if you look at the theme for this year, a just transition to sustainable lifestyles, you will know that basically talks to what we are doing, around the issue of climate change, insofar as lifestyles are concerned, and what it means to consumers on the ground. Right now, you know, for instance, there's the policy around plastic in the country, which is, I think, a move towards the right direction. And there are other players like Environmental Authority who are also on board, especially, primarily it's their role. So where we come in is, that it affects the consumer. Whatever happens in the market, insofar as the change or the transition in terms of how, for instance, business players are producing their items? Are they eco-friendly? Are we living in harmony with nature? And what are the implications for the consumer on the ground? And also their responsibilities on the side of the consumer in terms of what is expected of them. But also just to raise the awareness and conscientize them in terms of what it means and for them, because I mean right now, you know, there are items, for instance, that are detrimental to the health of consumers on the ground, you know, based on their not being eco-friendly. So that's where we come in as the consumer protection.
I think you've conscientized them already, you know, with this particular answer. But and I suppose your answer then begs the question, Nondumiso, that especially in Eswatini, where affordability often dictates choice, and I'm a consumer myself, I have seen that most of sustainable products tend to be pricey. You know, they aren't as affordable as what you have regarded as dangerous or sometimes toxic to someone's health or otherwise. How do we approach this? It's often looked at as a privilege, this thing, but how do we mainstream it?
Thank you very much. Viewer at home, things and subjects that touch on sustainability, the cost of it is in your mind more than anything else, because if you talk friendliness, your practices to be friendly to the environment, you don't need money. The way that you need to take care of objects that will be destructive to the environment just from your own home and spreading to your neighbors in your village before you talk national. If you practice eco-friendly practices, for instance, I am from the rural areas, I differentiate waste between dry waste and wet waste. Wet waste, each of these have both a possibility of being recycled. So you'd find that you will use your wet waste as compost, for instance, and then you'll avoid those that are in the business of fertilizers will excuse me here. But then you can always avoid using chemicals to enrich your soil through using waste that comes out just from your kitchen. That is not costly. It's just a question of the mind. And then safely transitioning into your thought and seeing how may you engage in simple, humble practices to ensure sustainability.
I love that answer because it sits at the center of the very work that you are supposed to do as we commemorate this day, which is raising awareness. That is exactly what you've just done, you know, with your 1-minute submission here. But, you know, what are the plans going forward, particularly on the day tomorrow, as well as, you know, going forward, entrenching this particular theme, sustainability? Mangoba.
Thank you so much. And tomorrow, basically, what we are doing, we will be commemorating it tomorrow. I think it's important to emphasize because the actual day globally, it's on the 15th, which is Saturday. But in the country, we are commemorating it tomorrow at the Hilton Garden Inn. We have invited a number of stakeholders in partnership with the OFS. We have invited government, regulators, business, consumer forums, and others, academia. And we are joined even by our partners from outside the country. COMESA Competition Commission will join in virtually in a discussion, in a panel discussion, and also the Competition and Consumer Protection Commission of Zambia. They will also be joining us virtually. And we are excited to announce that we are also live streaming this event tomorrow. So
people can
consumers on the ground, they can follow.
I'm afraid we have run out of time, but they can follow through that link. But also, I'm sure media houses will be there, including ourselves as Eswatini TV. So they will catch that on our news. Thank you so much for joining us on the program. Mangoba Mabuza, Advocacy and Communications Manager at the Eswatini Competition Commission, and the Ombudsman, OFS herself, Mageno Ndumiso Simelane. Let's go for a net break. We'll be back shortly.